and do that in my apartment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you the champion of this project?
Well, I'm the one that has
Started
made
it.
the mats, and they wonder what I'm doing. And I've got one started here that has color in it. So when you make your, what you call PLARN balls, plastic balls of yarn, they can have all these colors in them.
Oh, yeah, because it could be.
Makes it pretty.
Yeah, I like that.
And this one is more plain because I have a friend that makes these balls of PLARN.
Oh, this is cute.
That was made by a little friend when I first
Oh,
started.
I'm sorry, I missed the ball.
Oh, this is called plastic yarn.
Cool.
Made
So I
out-
could almost make those at home for you and just bring you the balls.
Well,
huh?
that's what people are doing on Wednesdays here.
Are they? I
I'm
should
meeting
come.
at 1
I should come and figure that out.
after lunch.
So, where did you get the idea
I
originally?
learned it at my church, and then I started teaching it at the church.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in
Neat.
2017 or before. And then COVID came, and then my husband got more ill, and we
Oh.
sold our home. I used to live at a different assisted living place.
Oh, you did?
I'm not assisted in any way,
Yeah.
but I live in this building
Yes. Oh, you
in
did,
an
yeah.
independent apartment.
Yeah, nice.
And I don't have to move again if I need assistance.
You're already
And I
there.
get 3 meals a day,
Yeah.
which is too much for me almost.
Yeah.
But so much better than where I was.
Good.
'Cause
Where
it
were
was-
you before?
I was at Legend across from Tulsa Hills that
Yes.
spent their money on fresh flowers, linen tablecloths, linen table napkins, and they wouldn't let me help in the dining room to help serve coffee or water, help
anything.
with their wash, which I knew more about wound care than they did.
Yes, yeah.
Because my husband spent 1.5 years at a wound center and doing oxygen chamber treatments and got in a clinical trial.
Did you know my mom, Jeannie, that my dad went through that too? A lot of wound care.
I sat there for 60 treatments 5 days a week
Oh.
while he was in 60 treatments of that, and I did this kind of
you
work.
did?
And people wanted to know what I was doing and would sometimes come on second Saturday over at Asbury where I taught it. So a few people did come. And now when I'm in the theater or if I'm sitting, especially in the theater, people will say, "What are you doing?" 'Cause-
You'll crochet, yeah.
and so they say, "I want to learn how to do that." Well, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
She's straightening the bag.
and
And
that's
then
not
she likes me to cut off the ends of the bag. And then you cut off the handles. You have to make sure that you get all.
everything.
Yeah. And then you fold the bag, if there's just one bag. And then you fold, you cut where there's a fold. So there's a fold there, and you turn it over, and there's 2 folds there. And you get what's called loops.
Oh, you did?
And then you start making a PLARN ball.
Oh, how many bags in a PLARN ball?
I don't know because who counts them?
Yeah, you just get to a point.
Somebody says how many bags are in a mat. There's about 500 bags
Oh, there are?
in a mat.
Cool.
And then if you do your own cutting of the bags and then the crocheting, it takes about 100 hours to make a mat.
Wow.
That's 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And nobody usually spends that much time, you know.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
this is the trash bag.
It is.
And if you do it, teach
They-
a whole group of people, you have to have helpers. I
Yeah.
wasn't doing it all by myself. There were people that helped me teach people how to straighten the bags, how to cut the bags, how to make, and kids from the Catholic schools have to have so many hours of doing community work. And they'd come over and do that. And then you
Cool.
sign their card saying that they worked from 8 o'clock until 12.
Do you take them down to the day center for homeless or?
the man that came to get the mats took me to different camps.
Oh, you went with them?
And, yeah.
And handed them out?
And I did some handing out of the mats, and then I did that in my own home area.
Oh, you did?
Over at 68th and Memorial, there's a bunch of homeless people that sit on the corner, and they were trashing the corner, and I'd put a double black plastic bag on a cyclone fence.
So they could put their trash
in. And then when I go shopping, I take that trash and carry it off in a grocery cart and dump it.
Yeah.
And then I got to know the homeless people. People say, who do you give the mats to? I gave the mats to those people. I wasn't afraid of them, really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I got involved with a man today. I take Tai Chi over at 68th and Sheridan at a church. I told Carol about it. And I asked him if he'd like a mat. I always like to keep one to show what they look like. This actually rolls up and has ties, and you tie it into it, and they can carry it on their shoulder.
It doesn't weigh anything, does it?
It does. The bigger it gets
it's
heavy.
a little more heavy.
But it does. When you're making it, you can, if you were, see, it gets heavy.
Yeah.
So you can't make them too big, like
Or it's hard
Barbie
to
was
carry.
getting hers too big. And I said, Barbie, she kept saying, this is getting heavy in my lap. I played hand and foot canasta with her. I said, you can't make it that big.
Yeah.
It gets too heavy to
For them to
carry.
carry.
It gets too heavy to make. And finally I said, you need to take it apart.
Yeah. Make it smaller.
Yeah.
But since you've helped them some and given them a gift, actually you've become acquainted with some people, and it's helped you know that they weren't frightening or
and pretty soon you look
harmless.
past, and I couldn't stand it when it was really cold outside and they didn't have any gloves. I'd take off my gloves and give it to them.
I can get another pair of gloves.
Yeah. And I always buy something when I go to the grocery store to give away. And today, I really got involved and bought a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, you did?
Because there's been a man for months and months been sleeping in a bench with metal handles. And he'd put something under his head, and he's been sleeping in that bench at nighttime. And today was the first time I really talked to him because I had some extra time. I said, do you go somewhere else to sleep at night? He said, no, I sleep here. And then I looked at they'd given him a trash can to keep his trash in. And it was full of water, and he'd put some clothes in there and water to wash his clothes.
So what did you do when you got really
I
involved?
asked him if I could buy something. I was going to Walmart. He says, no, I'm fine. But I went into Walmart. I thought, I said, is that your sleeping bag? He says, no, it's my blanket. He only had a blanket for last night.
He didn't even have a bag.
He did
Yeah, it was cold.
And I returned to give him the stuff. He'll be back. He wasn't there when I shopped at Walmart. But I was going to tell him that they are donating sleeping bags and backpacks at a place called The Merchant at 12th and Peoria, which is the man that started it. He started the meals under the bridge downtown.
Yes.
The hamburger.
Oh, okay, yeah. And there's another group called City Lights that does
Well,
that
that's
too.
part of that hamburger eating.
Yeah.
And Paul and Debbie Smith started that.
Yes. I've been to the fundraiser for City Lights.
And they're
couple years
getting
ago.
sleeping bags and backpacks donated now for winter time, especially the sleeping bags. But I had a clean pair of underwear that was brand new. My husband, we had bought some underwear for him. I don't need to say why it was new, because you usually don't need a lot of new underwear, but
circumstances were such that
I had it in the car, and I said, could you use this new pair of underwear? He says, I sure can. And all they need are some clean socks and underwear and some basic stuff, and money's not the thing to give them. And I told him I made mats for the homeless and what they were, I said, would you like one? I said, I've given one away this week at 61st and Lewis. There's a bunch of people that stand out there and panhandle. But I can't do it when there's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because they all want one.
And no.
But I went to I saw one man by himself, and then I saw another man behind a bush over by the bank. He was all by himself. And I gave him, I asked him if he didn't have a shirt on, it was a hot day.
Yeah.
And he says, oh yes, I can use that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And one lady
You're so sweet.
that I